Hey y'all, what's up? This is Coach Paul. God has qualified me, and I'm bringing to y'all another one of these Move Monday episodes. And listen, y'all, I'm gonna get to the point. If you don't move it, it's gonna move you. That, my friends, is a promise. All right, let's get to the content that we're gonna be talking about today or this week. Um, One of my favorite motivational speakers, Les Brown, one of the quotes that he said that stuck to me, he has a few that sticks to me. As you can see on my wall, that's one of them right there. But this one we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to mention and we'll expound on it. And here's how the quote went. He says, "You ought to say good things to you about you, because there may be a time that the only good things that you're going to hear about you is going to come from you." All right. So anyway, let's get to the point. Reason why I'm using that. Now, many of you all know that, I'm a speaker, recovery coach, relationship coach, and, I wholeheartedly believe that God has, this is part of the meaning of life for me. This is my part of my purpose. This is a ministry, a business, a profession, a calling, you name it. It's all of those things to me. And I love doing it, right? And so I speak in schools, I speak in treatment centers. I also do some prison ministries. And a lot of this stuff was a long time coming. And again, when I do it, I know that I'm in my element. I know that God is using me to touch and change some people's lives. Again, so that's one of the reasons why I know that this thing that I'm doing, it's from God. All right. So let me take y'all back. I remember, I just mentioned that I speak in schools, prisons, and treatment centers. And I remember years ago when my life was still messy. I would be in prison, or I would be in one of these residential treatment centers, or even outpatient, and they will have speakers come in. Obviously the prison has, preachers and people who come and sing, talk about the word of God, you name it. Lots of that stuff went on. And I always showed up to those times when those people came in. Like I said, whether it was at the treatment centers or the prisons. And I would always find myself sitting somewhere, if not in the front row, somewhere as close to the front row as possible. And one of the reasons, it was two reasons why I would do that. One of the reasons, I wanted to get the message. That was first and foremost. I wanted to have as less distractions as possible and get the message. The other thing that used to be the reason why I sat where I sat is because I'm a visionary, and I used to envision myself standing up there, and I would tell myself in my mind and in my heart, one day that's going to be me. I'll be standing up there doing what they're doing, whether it was in prisons, whether it was in treatment centers. And God gave me a bonus. So again, I'm doing it in prisons. I'm doing it in treatment centers now. What I used to say, it came true. And not only that it came true for treatment centers and prisons, I'm even doing it in schools. So again, God gave me a bonus, and I'm so blessed and honored that he has done that. Now, like I said, I used to have those, I want to do that. I want to do that. Now that I'm doing it, this year, God came to me and he says, "Okay, son, it's time for you to level up. It's time for you to go to the next level in this ministry that I've called you to, in this purpose that I've called you to, in this calling that I've put upon you. It's time for you to go to the next level." So, I've been doing a few things as of late to get me to that next level that God is calling me to. Now, some of y'all got to hear this. because many of you, some of y'all out there that is listening to this podcast, God has called you to the next level. And why you still sitting there? Why won't you move? If you are moving, right on. If you're not moving, why? What's going on? And whatever that is that's going on, we need to find that out so you can move that thing and level up in the greatness that God has called you and I to. All right. So here's one of the ways that I have become active in leveling up. Next Level Speakers Conference. Jeremy Anderson, Eric Thomas, CJ Quinney, you name it. These guys, they put together a Next Level Speakers Conference every year, at least once a year. And I had the honor and the privilege and the blessing of being able to attend this year's Next Level Speakers Conference. I did it virtually, and it was a 3-day conference. Phenomenal in more ways than one. One of the first things that got me, that let me know that these guys is next level, is that the beginning of the conference was about salvation. What do I mean? People got baptized, people got saved. They don't do conferences like that unless they are church oriented. So right there, you already got my attention. This is next level. Okay. So along with that, the speakers that they had on there, oh my God, for lack of better words, that's all I can say is, oh my God. When they talk about next level, that's what they mean. I don't know if I'm plugging next level speakers, but if I am, so be it, because I'm pledging to you all right now and to myself in the presence of God. I'm decreeing and declaring that I will, about a year from now, no later than a year from now, I will be a part of the Next Level Speakers community. 100%. This is the part of me leveling up. Anyway, let me get back to the point. So phenomenal 3-day conference. Awesome. 100%. So after the conference, what they did was some follow-up, because they wanted to know from their, the attendees and the viewers, how was it? What were some of the things that they loved? What were some of the things that they needed to critique, whatever. And also to talk to us about an invite to become a part of the Next Level Speakers community through Next Level Speakers Academy. And even that presentation was phenomenal, because part of the presentation, when they was talking about, all the different levels, all the different packages, things of that nature, they also talked about some of the people that you will be coached by, that you will be acting with, that you will be in the rooms with. And these are some of the heaviest. Now, when they say heavy hitters, these are some of the heaviest hitters when you talk about speaking, when you talk about coaching, when you talk about next level, when you talk about walking in your greatness. These are some of the heaviest of hitters. So I'm excited about it, right? And then like I said, they showed the panel of coaches, and I saw the panel of coaches, and almost immediately, now watch this, y'all got to pay attention to this. Almost immediately, self-doubt started to kick in. Here's what self-doubt said to me. You're not good enough to be in that room. And my Bible says that a man's gifts makes room for him and brings him before great men and women. Let me say that. Not just men, women as well. And this is an opportunity for me to be in the room with great men and great women. But the self-doubt, the not good enough started to raise his head up, started to speak into my mind and speak into my spirit and say, you're not good enough for that. They gonna tell you, you're going to be exposed and be told that you are not a speaker. You need to be going to do something else. These are the thoughts that started to come into my mind. And I would have been foolish to believe them if I didn't know that I have greatness in me. If I didn't know that this is part of the next level rooms that God has called me to. I would have started to believe that if I didn't know that I was predestined to be doing these things. I would have started to believe that if I didn't believe that the gifts that God has put in me is put me in positions to be in rooms, right? I would have started to believe that. And part of me really wanted to believe that, but I had to stop it. I had to move those thoughts out of the way because those thoughts would stop me. If I watch this, y'all. If I would have given into those thoughts, man, when I said it always at the beginning. If you don't move it, it's gonna move you. If I wouldn't have moved these thoughts and these lies, let me say that too. These lies that my mind started to tell me, and also now when my mind started to tell me that the enemy wanted to agree and enhance the thoughts. Now, if I would have started to believe that, I would have turned around. And remember, I told y'all last week about Mediocre Street and Ordinary Avenue. I would have went back there. And here's the thing about going back there. One of the things that God has showed me that He showed me this. And some of y'all need to hear this. You have to move forward. You have to move onward. You have to move up to these next levels because there's absolutely nothing to go back to. Some of y'all didn't hear that. I have to say this again. You have to move forward. You have to move onward. You have to move upward because if you go back, there's absolutely nothing to go back to. I know that that's a fact in my life. If, I don't believe in the my truth stuff because there's only one truth and his name is Jesus. Let me say that. But if I utilize that statement in my vocabulary, that would be my truth, that there's absolutely nothing for me to go back to. So I have to continue to move forward. And some of you all have to listen to this or listen to what I'm saying and start to tell yourself, yes, you are good enough. Listen, God is not going to ever call you to something that he's not going to equip you to do. He equips the call, not calls the equipped. Right. And so when I get into that place, in that position where I'm in that room with those brothers and sisters, I'm going to be fully equipped to be there. Here's the other thing that tried to give me some self-doubt. I want y'all to hear this because the price, especially if you want to level up, there are different packages. But for me to level up to where I feel like the Lord is calling me, I need the top package. And here's some of the doubt. Oh, you ain't got. Here's what God said to me, and here's what he said to you. If you know what the word of God says, he said, I'll make you the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. Blessed in your going ins and in your coming out. This is what he told me. Now it's time for me to believe him and take him at his word, because he told us that we could take him at his word. And that's one of the reasons why many of us won't be able to move into our greatness or not moving into our greatness, because when we'll take God at his word when there's certain situations. We'll take God at his word when it's something easy. We'll take God at his word when it's something that we can see. I couldn't see, but I could sure hear somebody saying that I'm not good enough. I couldn't see, but I could sure hear somebody saying, you're not a speaker. You're an ex-drug addict. You're an ex-felon. Yeah, you're a black man. All of the negative phrases and connotations we could put on ourselves that'll give us a reason or excuse to not move into our greatness. That'll give us a reason or excuse to say, yeah, but, I know, but I should, but I could, but, and move backwards. I'm not taking that. And I'm asking y'all out there who are listening to this episode not to take it either. Listen, I'm decreeing and declaring to y'all today, like I said earlier, I will, if God has me on the face of this earth a year from now, within a year from now, I will be one of the next level speakers, community members. And I will be in the community of people who are assisting me in leveling up my speaking and coaching calling. Because again, like I said, before any of this happened, God said, it's time for you to level up. And some of y'all out there listening to this episode of Move Mondays, it's time for you to level up. And the only way you're going to level up is when you start moving some stuff. And sometimes watch this. Excuse me. Sometimes it ain't the devil you need to move. You know, I remember the Flip Wilson show. He had a character that he played on there called Geraldine, and she would always say, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. The devil, sometimes it ain't the devil you need to move. Sometimes the reason why we are not moving is because we in the way. And I promise you, gentlemen, I was about to get in my way when I saw that panel. I was about to get in my way. However, because I know whose I am and I know who I am, I moved me out the way. I told me, you got to get out the way because I got something to do. I need to level up. God told me to, and I got to do it. And so I want to say this exact same thing to you all. Whatever God has called you to, whatever is your calling, whatever is your ministry, whatever is the mission, whatever is the meaning of life, whatever is your purpose, if God has called you to it, I promise you, there is absolutely no mediocrity or ordinary in it. None. It's greatness. And here's why. Because he said that if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men to me. And he's called us to do the things that we're doing to lift him up. He says, you'll do these things and even greater things than these because I go to the Father. So if he already said it, who am I to say I'm not good enough? Who am I to listen to somebody who said that I'm not good enough? Who am I to listen to say that I'm not who and what he says that I am? Don't let nobody tell you that, and you need to stop telling you that as well. So again, people, some of y'all who are listening to this episode of Move Mondays, God said it's time to level up because we got to go out there and preach this thing and let people know that the light of the world is calling them out of darkness. And the only way we're going to do this is by moving because we got greatness to do. With that being said, I done made my point. I ain't even got to keep going. Y'all heard it. Please, let's have some absolutely awesome conversations about this with one another, and not just conversations. I want to have conversations that's action oriented, because move is a verb. We got to do something about this here, y'all. We can't just talk about it. We got to be about it. And I want to help as well as be helped, because listen, let me tell y'all, I haven't made it yet. I'm still on my way. I told y'all earlier that my mind started immediately saying, you ain't good enough. So I'm still on my way. And whoever that is out there listening to this podcast, if we can help one another keep it moving and get to what he's calling us, let's go. Let's go. And thank y'all so much. With that being said, listen, y'all, I love every last one of y'all. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Till next time, be well. Do the next right thing. God bless you. Let's level up. And this is Coach Paul saying deuces.